On the way out, the mumps outbreak at Temple sees a decrease in confirmed cases.
Coming full circle, a Temple Update alum journeys back to Philadelphia for a special occasion.
The future of fine dining, a look at the robotic restaurants of tomorrow.
The world watched in horror as one of its most famous structures goes up in flames. Now a global effort to rebuild the cathedral begins. Hello and welcome to Temple Update. I'm Zuri Hoffman.
And I'm John Dowding. Our top story this morning takes us to Notre Dame after a devastating fire ravaged the cathedral. Investigators are working to determine the cause of Monday's fire. The inferno raged through the attic and roof, making its way to the inside of the spire until the spire collapsed. The blaze lasted until the next morning, and about 400 firefighters fought to extinguish the flames. Officials say the building lacked the fundamental fire prevention safeguards required for modern architecture.
The cathedral's roof, also known as the forest, collapsed in the fire as well. French President Emmanuel Macron says they plan on rebuilding the cathedral within 5 years. Donations from around the world have totaled close to $1 billion so far. Now, Temple Update's London correspondent Brianna Dent is live in Paris right now with an update on the aftermath of that fire. Bri, how are people reacting to this?
Well, Zuri, it's definitely been an unusual few days here in Paris. Crowds have been flooding in on all sides of the cathedral, trying to get a glimpse of the damage for themselves. And as you can imagine, it's been a difficult time here as people are still trying to understand the devastation that has been caused by this fire.
Since Monday's fire, there's been an increased police presence around the Notre Dame Cathedral, controlling the crowds of spectators. Annick Faucraire, who lives close by, left her apartment along with hundreds of others to see the fire.
And we were people from many places. There were Parisians, of course, but there were also tourists who were here. You could feel this common sense of tragedy that was happening.
Notre Dame is a place of religion for some, a tourist attraction for others. But for the French, the cathedral is a cultural icon.
And for us, Notre Dame is so important because this is our ancestors. You know, all these artisans, all these people who were humble people, but then they together they created something that was just beauty.
The fires had an undeniable impact on people worldwide, including 2 students from the Philadelphia region now living in Paris.
Well, it's disappointing not to see the spire anymore, and the roof definitely, but I mean, I'm hopeful. It looks like the majority of the building stood up.
I've never seen this many people gathered here at once. This is crazy. There's so many people here, and it's never like this.
The French president wasted no time in vowing to rebuild Notre Dame, making it even more beautiful.
I'm hopeful of the rebuilding prospects, and it seems like the French people have really been looking forward to rebuilding it, as funny as that seems. Plus the donations coming in have been really inspiring.
Just days after the fact, work has already begun at the cathedral, alongside fire crews maintaining the scene.
We have hope, and we have hope for this building that is also our soul, the spirit of France, spirit of our history, and of our nation.
Now, many people have described the Notre Dame as being the soul of France, and it's that mentality that has so many people already eager to contribute to the restoration process. And while this disaster has certainly caused heartbreak for many, it's also been a sense of community and a sense of togetherness that everybody will continue throughout the restoration process. Reporting live from Paris for Temple Update, I'm Brianna Dent.
Thank you, Bri and Max, for that report. The impact of the fire was felt by French students at Temple, including junior Paul-Anique Weiler-Correa-Dulago. He says this catastrophe will be remembered for centuries to come.
Every reminder of that fire, like the frustration of looking at that fire, it's just it's just very hard. Like every time you remember, because at the moment we didn't know if the facade was going to fall, if the fire was going to consume the whole building, and thank God for the firefighters.
He says the people of Paris have hope for its restoration, saying the cathedral was able to survive events like the French Revolution.
In Temple Updates, Victoria Lucas spoke to people on campus of the impact left on the devastation of the building. Victoria?
John, the recent events have been heartbreaking to the people of France and many throughout the world, but not a lot of people are familiar with the historical significance that the cathedral has. I spoke with people who put all of this into context, beginning with modern European history professor Barbara Day Hickman, who touches on the true meaning felt by the people of France.
It is not just a building, it is a feeling, a sense of connection and identity as a nation, as a people that is connected to the artwork and not just to textual images or text.
Temple student Andrea Procaccio from the Newman Center says the timing of the recent events has a larger meaning to Catholics around the world.
This is Holy Week, quite the week, for this to happen, but Holy Week, Easter, it's all about death, resurrection.
The monument took about 200 years to complete. Temple Associate Professor of Architecture Vojislav Ristic explains more on the hardships faced in building the cathedral.
The sides, the main nave, all the flying buttresses, that was the challenge, for Gothic architecture, because they wanted to go very tall, and going tall is a challenge today, even not only then. So, and all they had to, all material available was, masonry. So they had to really think hard, and they had to be very smart to actually how to find the right solution.
The cathedral's damage may have been devastating, but Andrea Procaccio says the faith of herself and others around her isn't lost.
And what matters is the faith that occurs there. We all still have the faith, it's devastating, but none of us have, our faith hasn't been lost or shaken.
And as said before, just 2 days after the fire, millions of people across the world have donated funds to the reconstruction of Notre Dame. France's Prime Minister Edouard Philippe has said it will be an immense challenge to complete the reconstruction, but it is a historic responsibility. John and Zuri, back to you.
Thank you, Victoria. Countless world leaders are reacting and expressing their solidarity with the French people. Pope Francis offered his prayers for all those who are striving to cope with this tragic situation. Philadelphia Archbishop Charles Chaput released a statement regarding reading for over 800 years, Notre Dame has been one of the most iconic churches in Christendom, a testament to man's desire to glorify God on earth and a beacon of hope for millions of pilgrims each year. Chaput also called on all Philadelphia parishes to take up voluntary donations to aid in the reconstruction efforts. This is still a developing story, so make sure to follow Temple Update on all our social media for the latest updates.
To this now, for the first time since the mumps outbreak began, the number of new mumps cases has fallen below 10. Student and Employee Health Services says that 7 new cases of mumps have been reported between April 7th and April 13th. This is down from 22 new cases from the week before. Temple University has administered more than 6,000 MMR vaccines since the outbreak began.
Breaking news from Washington, D.C. this morning. Right now, Attorney General William Barr is having a press conference where he is expected to release a redacted version of the Mueller report. And right now, Attorney General Barr has said that there is no collusion right now between Trump officials of the Trump campaign and members of the Russian government. However, he said the Russian government did interfere in the election process. He's not sure, however, about charges against the president and obstruction of justice. And he will make a non-redacted full version of the report available for some lawmakers. Now, this is a breaking story, so please make sure to follow Temple Update on all our social media sites for the latest details.
And now, Watergate journalist Bob Woodward and legendary coach Fran Dunphy are among others who will be awarded with an honorary degree at Temple commencement ceremonies happening next month. 6 people in total are going to be awarded the degree, including former world champion boxer Bernard Hopkins, longtime trustee Leonard Barrick, and Stanley Mervis, and also Stephen A. Scheller. The honorary degrees are given to those who exemplify strong leadership and achieve goals that fall in line with the university's ideals.
I cannot believe graduation is a month away, less than a month away.
I know, John.
I'm just hoping the weather holds out for it.
Me too. Let's check in with Jayna. She'll have an update for us as to what we can expect for this week.
Hey guys, Founders Garden is looking good. It's not sunny out today, but it's still warm and there's a nice breeze as I see people going by, heading to class. Everyone looks pretty comfortable, and you know what? Later on, I'm even going to give you an exclusive holiday weekend forecast. But first, let's check out the temps right now. It's about 57 degrees right now and cloudy. And as we're moving on onto 1 p.m., it's going to be 67 degrees, and the clouds are still going to be covering that sunshine, so it's not going to get too warm just yet. Moving on to 6 p.m., it's going to go up into the 70s, and the sun's going to peek out a little bit. Then around 11 p.m., it'll be 67 degrees and mostly cloudy still. So you know what, guys? I'm going to send it back to you in the studio, and later on, I'll be in the weather center with that holiday forecast.
Thank you, Jayna. I gotta soak up some sun. We gotta get some good color
I
before
know.
graduation. Coming up on Temple Update, this Japanese restaurant is running like a well-oiled machine, and so are the robotic waiters. Our Japan correspondent Savannah Flieg takes us a step into the future.
An Easter egg hunt benefiting a special cause. Temple Update's Julien Carroll was there to capture this moment of magic.
And Mr. Big Five took on a new meaning for Fran this week. What Fran has to say about it next.
Don't touch that remote. Temple Update. We'll be right back.
A Temple Update alum has made a name for himself in Los Angeles as an editor. He came back to Philadelphia this past weekend for a special honor. Kevin Otte was the associate editor on Mike Wallace is Here, which was screened at the Philadelphia Film Society's second annual Film Fest. The film features the life of 60 Minutes reporter Mike Wallace.
When I started the project, I didn't really know who Mike Wallace was, but as I did some research, I found out he was like a Forrest Gump character throughout all this American history and world history. He was always at the right moment at the right time, covering these important events and really interrogating these world leaders and asking them the hard question.
Kevin's entire family was on hand for the event, including his younger brother, Ben, who is also a Temple Update alum.
Temple Update got to capture a little magic this weekend. For more on this story, here's Julien Carroll.
Temple students volunteering as part of a Moment of Magic Foundation came out this weekend for their first annual Easter egg hunt. Children ran picking up Easter eggs, made arts and crafts, and got the chance to imitate and play with some of their favorite Disney characters. Stephanie Fallon, president of the Temple University chapter, had this to say.
This has been a huge change to my life. I really feel like I've genuinely found my passion through this organization. It's really become my life. I've tried to put in as many hours as humanly possible, and we were able to do about 50 visits this past year. So that's been awesome, and just being able to touch these children in the way that we can and provide these services and these experiences with these princesses that they may be too sick to go see in the actual parks.
A Moment of Magic Foundation, formerly known as the Princess Project, started back in 2014. The organization's purpose is to bring college-age students together to bring smiles and spread a little magic to young girls who suffer from differing medical conditions.
Today, 5 years later, the Temple University chapter has continued their mission of being brave, strong, and fearless. We're happy to share this moment of magic with you on Temple Update. My name is Julien Carroll. Back to you in the studio.
Human waiters may be a thing of the past. Temple Update's Japan correspondent Savannah Flieg gives us a look at the robotic restaurant of the future.
Of eccentric Japanese entertainment resides in the heart of Shinjuku. As one of Tokyo's main tourist attractions, the robot restaurant is internationally known for its unique fusion of Japanese culture and futuristic technology. The elaborate atmosphere, reportedly costing over $100 million to construct, explodes with life and lasers, entertaining audiences with an elaborate production that resembles the upscale nature of a Broadway show and the outlandishness of a circus simultaneously. The flashy robots and zany cast members deliver a surreal performance with live music, enormous dragons, dinosaurs, and an aquatic-themed dance ensemble, which is chaotic yet impressive.
The robot restaurant is unlike anything else in the world, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who would like to experience one of Japan's most unique and unconventional attractions. Reporting for Temple Update from Tokyo, I'm Savannah Flieg.
The Beasley School of Law awarded former Temple's women's basketball coach and current South Carolina coach Dawn Stanley with the Love for the City Award on Thursday in a small ceremony in Shusterman Hall. Stanley got emotional talking about the impact her late mother had on her life and coaching career. Take a look.
I am from North Philly, but I don't cry. But when I have to speak about,
take your time, baby.
Not crying gets me because I lost my mother in 2017. She had been a rock.
The Love for the City Award is presented annually to an individual or organization whose contributions transcend sports. The North Philadelphia native coached 8 seasons at Temple, leaving for South Carolina in 2008. So, John, let's talk sports.
Yep.
Even though it's, well, the Sixers have been doing pretty well lately.
Yeah, they have been.
Yeah.
Well, let's take it down to Broad Street to see what else is going on. We have Bri Hofsass at the sports desk. Hey, Bri, what's going on in sports?
Hey, what's up, Owl fans? From big honors to the biggest practice of the season, it's been a busy week on Broad Street. Welcome to the Sports Desk. I'm Bri Hofsass. The Sixers are still taking care of business in South Philly, so basketball isn't out of season just yet, but the Big Five did just host their annual awards ceremony, and Temple Athletics definitely took home some hardware. The Sports Desk's Matheis was there.
Temple Athletics is represented multiple times in this year's class of Big Five Hall of Famers, including former athletic director Bill Bradshaw and women's basketball player Kamisha Harrison. But despite the amount of Philly basketball royalty at the Cathedral of College basketball, the highlight of the night was first ballot inductee Coach Fran Dunphy.
Bill Bradshaw gave me my job. To me, because I watched her play, and so I'm grateful for that. I have another player to play for me at the University of Pennsylvania, Mark Zoller, who's going in. So all those things are very, very special for me, and I'm grateful.
In his speech to the crowd, Coach Dunphy talked about starting his coaching career with Penn right here on the bench, thanking universities of the Big Five as well as the city of Philadelphia.
I look again into the audience and I'm looking for somebody as lucky as me. I don't see them out there. There's nothing like Philadelphia basketball, nothing like the Big Five, nothing like the Palestra, to be honest with you.
The winningest coach in Big Five history was sent off with a standing ovation and the loudest applause of the night. Reporting for the Sports Desk and Temple Update, I'm Matheis.
It feels like basketball is finally wrapping up for Temple, and football is just beginning. The team kicked off their annual Cherry and White game with a new twist. This is the first year the Cherry and White game was reduced to a practice. This might be new to Temple football, but not at all to Rod Carey.
We made a decision years ago that this was going to be a work day for us because it's one of 15 that we get. And then usually you're dinged up a little bit by practice 15 as well, so you don't want to get anybody else dinged up by having short lines.
Even though it wasn't a scrimmage, there were still a lot of games for fans on Saturday. The Sports Desk's Adam Miller tested out some of the fan activities.
For most schools, spring football is strictly about business. But at the Cherry and White practice, there's a little bit more to it. And by that, I mean bouncy houses, mini golf, basketball, and more. But I need to get some advice to know which ones I should try first. Unfortunately, the bouncy house was full, so I had to try my hand in a few other things.
Not the best golfer in the world, as you guys can see. We'll try better next time. Yeah, you know, I'd like to think the ball was a little deflated. Wasn't me.
Was that 0 for 3?
0 for 3.
Now, outside some of my problems with the games, the atmosphere around the Temple Cherry and White practice was electric.
You come here in April, spring practice, this many people out here. Everybody's excited about the next coming season. This is awesome.
The Temple Cherry and White game definitely gives fans the perfect opportunity to kick their feet up and enjoy the ride.
Now I just gotta wait 365 more days until I get to redeem myself. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Adam Miller.
Well, that's all for me at the Sports Desk this week. As always, be sure to follow us at @TU_SportsDesk and be sure to tune in to this week's edition of Temple Timeout. I'm Bri Hofsass. John and Zuri, back to you.
Thank you, Bri, and we will be right back with more Temple Update, and we'll have weather right after this short break.
So Jayna Alexandra is in the Weather Center for us. Jayna, I just have one question for you. Can I retire my winter coat for the season?
You can retire the winter coat, but as we're looking at this radar right now, you might need a raincoat because we can really see that precipitation rolling into our direction. But let's check out what we've got going on right now because you're not going to need it today, Zuri. Right now it is cloudy and 57 degrees, so we really have that kind of a nice breeze going on. But we are getting that spring weather that we asked for. And if we look at what Sally, the sorority girl, is wearing, she's got a nice spring outfit on, but definitely a jacket because it is a little bit breezy. Moving on, if we check out that 5-day forecast, Friday we've got the first day of Passover, and I hope these thunderstorms don't put a damper on everyone who's beginning their celebrations. Moving on to Saturday, this weekend's really going to be a wet one, guys. Sorry to tell you that. But then as we go along to Easter Sunday, more showers, and I really hope the Easter Bunny doesn't hide any eggs outside because this isn't ideal weather for that, but we are going to have at least temperatures in the 60s. Moving on to Monday, the sun is back into our lives and we have temperatures in the 70s. Tuesday as well, high of 74 degrees and partly cloudy, so the sun's peeking through the clouds. And if you want more updates on this holiday weekend forecast, you can follow us on TU Weather Watch. Back to you guys at the news desk.
Returning to our top story of the morning, just minutes after flames were seen from the Notre Dame Cathedral, hundreds of Parisians gathered along the Seine River and to see the heart of their city burned.
As the historic church smoldered, gasps and groans from the crowd were replaced with signs of unity. The City of Lights came together as one in the shadow of the charred cathedral. Grief-stricken mourners, many in tears, could be seen as fire crews battled the flames. France has vowed to rebuild the historic building, which stands as a symbol of Paris and of France.
All right, well, that does it for us here on Temple Update. For the latest news, check out our website, templeupdate.com.
And don't forget, you can watch Temple Update every Thursday at 10 a.m. on Comcast Channel 50, Verizon 45, and 24/7 on TempleTV.net.
And be sure to follow Temple Update across all of our social media sites. For John Dowding, Bri Hofsass, Jayna Alexandra, and the rest of the Temple Update team, I'm Zuri Hoffman. Have a great day.